Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here, and we just got out of watching Morbius and have epic morning hair because it is like the first thing in the morning, so I do not want to show that off. But what I am going to tell you is we just got out of Morbius, and it comes out tonight, and that's usually a red flag when it comes to reviews because they're like, oh man, like by the time this review can be posted, a lot of you are probably going to be in the theater watching it already. So I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this movie. It is very much a 90s superhero movie. 100% it is in the vein of things like the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider or the Wesley Snipes Blade movie, which is par for the course with the Sony Spider-Man spin-offs. Venom could have been a 90s superhero movie. This movie follows Jared Leto. He plays a character called Michael Morbius, a brilliant genetic researcher who's facing death due to a rare genetic disease having to do with his blood. He's had to get like dialysis since he was a kid, it looks like, or get his blood switched out. In this child blood hospital, he meets a fellow kid named Milo, who he dubs Milo. His name is Lucian, who's played later as an adult by Matt Smith. What I will tell you is Matt Smith and Jared Leto are 100% committed to their performance in this movie. And that's what makes it watchable, the same way that Tom Hardy makes Venom watchable. But what I will also tell you is that this movie is very much a PG-13 movie. And it is very hard to make a violent comic book superhero vampire movie where you can't have any blood shown, and that's kind of the deal with this movie. This is a bloodless vampire movie. You see splats of black from here and there. You see people bite people, but it doesn't really ever ring through as like a violent vampire film. You get the vampire transformations, which are not in the comics, but I come to expect because ever since The Lost Boys, we know vampires switch from human face to vampire face. And there's lots of like random nods to comic books in this movie that will probably not pay off. Like there's a reference to a school for gifted youngsters in New York. There's references to Spider-Man and stuff like that. And that's all they are. They're references. They don't really have payoffs. And this movie, the amount of CGI in this movie is flabbergasting. There is so much CGI in this movie to the point where I got a headache. All the fights are CGI fights where you don't really even know what's going on until they do like that pause bullet time thing. You're like, it has a very confusing ending that borrows a lot from Blade. It has two post-credit scenes, one which negates the one that just came before it and seems to kind of like riff on Far From Home in a way that seems bizarre to me. I will say, this movie has good performances. The lack of blood, the fact that this movie, they even call it red at one point, and they use artificial blood just so they can have some blood drinking, but it's blue. It's a bit much. And I feel like this movie, it suffers a lot from probably being recut. Half of the trailers you've seen have footage in them, or the footage you've seen, half of the footage in those trailers isn't in this movie, and that's really weird. As well as like references to comic book characters who haven't even been in Spider-Man movies. So I don't know. I like it in that popcorn Blade Ghost Rider way. So, I mean, I would give it like a B-, C+ on that level. It's like the 2016 Suicide Squad, It's not a good movie, but you can put it on in the background and you're watching, you're kind of like, oh, that's cool, like, visually, but it's not a great movie. And that's kind of the boat where I would put it, like one of those like lower mid-tier superhero movies. If you get a chance to watch it at a matinee, go for it. Otherwise, I would say maybe wait for streaming. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Morbius comes out tonight. This is right at a theater review. If you like what I'm throwing down, subscribe, like us at Cult Classics, hit the bell icon, notifications, all that good stuff. We will talk to you later.